It's going to be a close one, I reckon. We got the reverse grid time, final race of the Japanese Super Touring Championship, race 2 around Fuji's Grand Prix venue. Still a Saturday. It was perhaps the best decision to make. The Euros should have done it, I suppose. Lesson learned. Final round in a Saturday, and then the Worlds begin tomorrow, and we'll be here for that as well. But this is going to be a very close one. Muto is 4th on the grid. Butcher is 8th. It's still it's still up in the air for everyone else, but I think those are your two favourites for the championship. Was Narusai P10 gets pole, Takahashi P9 gets 9th, and Suzuki winning gets P10, and everyone else in between has to swap as well. Sunny day, but I did want to check on the weather. Race 1, we need to check on the weather again for race 2, Swinny, don't we?
Yeah, for sure. Just because it's sunny now doesn't mean it's going to stay sunny. You're certainly not wrong there. I think I will say, quick note, car to watch is going to be Schumacher starting 3rd there. We know the Mercedes gets off the line a lot better than its four-wheel drive brother in there.
And it is 4-wheel drive all the way down to P9. So that'll be worth looking at the mid-pack at the start for other 4-wheel drives trying to overtake Suzuki when the lights go out. Off we go. Subaru getting a laid out of bed almost. Narusai Takahashi managed to get the power back down the inside though. Goes Muto. They're all charging in there. We did hear some biff and barge, but nobody spun. That's good to know. Takahashi back still to 2nd. Narusai, this is a high-speed traffic jam into Coca-Cola. Degrassi, plumb last. And Muto up to 2nd. Okay, Butcher 7th. Wow, this will be one for the maths nerds to try and work out how it stands right now. Winterbottom's got some work. Butcher's got some work to do. Maybe Winterbottom as well, because Winterbottom now ahead of Butcher. Well, they're straddling. They're trying to swap places like it's nobody's business. Butcher down the inside already. And there goes Jack Scaife with a late braking manoeuvre. Bit of bullion before the Dunlop hairpin.
Jack Scaife taking cues from V8 Supercars there, I think.
He learned well. Or not well. Depends on your perspective. Schumacher down to 6th.
Yeah, after starting 3rd, and he did get a good start, but he was boxed in, got 2 wheels on the grass, and that's probably messed up his entire first lap there with having the left side of the car just not gripping the same as the right. This race is going to be every man and woman for themselves, apart from the Mercedes-Benz drivers here. So Schumacher letting Losser up to 4th, probably a smart move.
Biff and barge, but we had no choice. Butcher 8th. Winterbottom is playing the team game finally. There's Muto down the inside of Narusai. Muto there's not much more that Muto can do. It's just down to everyone else and what they can do or what they can't do. But Butcher in the same shot just has to perhaps try and work a little bit harder in not losing any points to Muto now that they are in the best possible place for it.
Yeah, Muto's job now is just pull away from the Toyota and try to secure fastest lap. So he just needs to run qualifying laps essentially. Just nail every single apex and yeah, just maximise the amount of points. You want the full 32 here if you want to make an attempt at nicking the title at the last possible second.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Butcher's down to 11th.
He's been shuffled back in the traffic here. I think those two Hondas they've proved to be very good on their brakes and good in braking zones, of which there are multiple here. Butcher's fallen afoul of it, but we know his car's quick. We know he's got top 3 speed. He just needs to get through the traffic here.
So that means he's only getting 5 points when Mutoh currently 30, pending the fastest lap. Oh boy.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars in between him and the leader right now. And you can see them all snaking their way through the S's here.
Okay, so the way this is working right now, we're looking at... Oh, it's still a 3-point gap. Unless Mutoh gets the fastest lap in now, it is a it's a 1-point gap. Butcher ahead. Butcher better not slip. Butcher's got work to do, and this is pressure time. Nobody, well, enough space behind, but that comfort blanket of Suzuki and Rustad ahead needs to be grabbed. Needs to happen, perhaps sooner rather than later.
Well, here goes Jack Scaife continuing his early race charge. So evidently, any setup changes they made in between the two races, it's possibly working for him. He's ahead of his teammate. He's was looking a bit threatening on the back of Winterbottom's car there. So the two Australians fighting for 7th and 8th. Butcher has definitely got a better run through the hairpin, so he's now on the back of Suzuki. Don't know if he's going to outbrake him down here, but he can certainly try.
Whilst we don't necessarily have to look at this, here's a first time of the season. Reliability is obviously a good thing to have, especially for a touring car championship, but that is the first technical. We're seeing Ingram in the Mitsubishi is in the pits. That's a first, so we can just keep eye on that. If he's back out again, just for perhaps the fastest lap's sake later on. If you're trying to fix that right now, we'll get back to you. But this is probably the first time I've seen a reliability issue on track ever in a Super Touring franchise race. This championship is at it all, to be fair.
Yeah, very true. I don't know if I'll be able to get an answer during the race, but I can certainly text him and see if I can get an answer.
Would he have his phone on him, I wonder? Would he be professional
Well,
enough
whilst
not
he's
to have his
parked in
phone
the
on him?
garage? Potentially. Meanwhile, Winterbottom has got himself around the Mazda of Katayama. So she's now got an Australian in front and an Australian behind. Butcher yet to make any ground on the cars in front. I wonder if he knows about the points gap and is happy just to sit here, but he does need to be careful because he's got...
That's too comfortable, especially that rogue element, shall we say.
Yeah.
An absolute berserker of a Ford four-wheel drive, showing anything's possible in this championship, where we've seen everything has been possible so far. But it's a 1-point gap with Butcher ahead. It is not that comfortable. And with the amount of wins in play as well, if it's count back, it's still Butcher with 1 win more, but that's still not going to be enough if Butcher's going to be falling back even more. If Fujiwara is an experienced manager just to knock him off the track and out of the points, this is as tense as it's ever going to get. And we were sort of expecting this, but we didn't know who was going to be the major players at the end of it. British driver around Fuji with a title decider on their hands. Where have we heard that before? Oh wait, it's still dry.
Yeah, Fujiwara definitely man of the match last race. We'll see if he can replicate that. He got shuffled back at the start, fell back to 14th, made his way back up to 12th. I don't know if it's... Well, there's nothing stopping him from having a go at the Toyota in front, but I don't know if that's going to be the most sensible thing on the in the world.
The two Mercedes 4th and 5th. Narusai still 3rd with Takahashi in the Subaru. Silver medal slot behind Mutoh, ahead of Narusai.
Scaife, who was all over the back of Katayama's Mazda, is now having to play defensive on Rustad's Subaru. So, did he burn out his tyres in just 5 laps, I wonder?
Yokohama providing the tyres the whole season, given a remit similar to the compounds used in the other franchises, and therefore, whilst it hasn't exactly played out in the same way, we've expected that to happen.
Snaking through the S's they go. What was this, 2005, 2004 upgrade when they did this redesign?
It certainly was. The entirety of 2004, nobody raced here. And 2005 was when they were starting to get things ready. And by 2007, Formula One finally got back here for 2 seasons, then back to Suzuka. Still maintaining the majority of the old lap, this long straight, a tighter turn 1, some more reprofiled turns 3, 4 and 5, but obviously Herman Tilke's input on the final section to try and get something more entertaining out of the final turn, and a longer timed lap, because obviously the original circuit, even with the chicanes, was a very quick one indeed. Quick and indeed dangerous. Winterbottom now 6th.
Yeah, face full of Mercedes. He's got both of them in front. I think he might be the faster car currently. He just needs to find a way past. And there he makes an attempt. Hook, line, sinker. I don't think Schumacher put too much fight into that. Although, having said that, here he is coming back at him. Who is going to be more brave on the brakes going into the chicane?
Forgetting the driver's title to one side, Genesis have the manufacturer's championship in the bag almost. They just got to get these results across the line, and then beating both Gazoo and Mazda, who were also threatening to be winning the manufacturer's title after the second half of the season. Honda with a good start to the season, but no wins meant just as much of a World Super Touring Championship mediocrity, despite the win earlier. Mitsubishi in the privateer team standings, taking over the title contention in the privateers from the Chaser team due to their lack of progress with the older car. That's very likely in the bag as well, considering where at least one of those Mitsubishis is right now. Ingram still trying to claim some minor points. And yes, there's your top 10, top 12.
And on the Ingram note, he has actually managed to text me back. Apparently the turbo just completely lost all boost pressure. And
so going around
a top speed orientated power track like this, the last thing you want is no turbo, if you're supposed to have one.
Down the inside of Suzuki goes Rustad. Fujiwara was almost threatening Butcher with less points.
Yeah, everyone's just sort of holding their own. You see flashes of speed and aggression from one driver, only to then be on the defensive for the next couple of laps. Case in point, Scaife now losing a place to Rustad Subaru.
And the way things are going now, Katayama's going to do much better, Winterbottom's going to do much better for it to be their title chances. Still nowhere near the sort of points that Butcher and Mutoh are both on. Butcher on board. Second half of the race, we're into that territory. Fujiwara threatening again, and here come the clouds. Oh boy, oh boy. The unpredictability is still off the charts here, especially Fujiwara's power in the four-wheel drive. Now, if this is a swap of position, Butcher still leads the championship by dint of one more race win. But then Muto's going to get that, and it's going to be count back on... Oh, actually, I miscalculated here. I think we're down... Yeah, it is down to a 2-point gap. Sorry, 2-point gap. So still incredibly tense, and it's down to Fujiwara behaving when trying to overtake the title contender elect. Still a sensible position for both drivers, but it is unbelievably close to a fine, just that fine edge, the fine line between title or no title, on the edge of disaster. Disaster's the wrong word, I know, but considering how random this championship has been at the start, for Toyota to be in this title contention with their driver is still very promising indeed for a team that decided to bail out on the World Championship to focus on more of a local championship. That we all thought that we were going to run away with it. I've been pleasantly surprised this entire season that other teams, other privateers have stood up to them and gone, you know what, you're not getting this easy. And boy, have we been entertained off the back of that.
Yeah, considering most of the grid have managed to win a race, I think it's all bar 4, 5 drivers have managed to take a race win here and there. So this championship has certainly proved itself in its first season. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in its second season. I don't know of any major changes in the grid for Season 2. I haven't heard anything in the grapevine, so to speak. We saw that candid shot appear online a few weeks ago of a third Crown Athlete being built, but we still don't know who that's for even, or what series that's going to run in.
I know Maturin's. I'm surprised that if it does come to fruition, I would be pleasantly surprised if that is for the Worlds, because if it's filled out its purpose here and not got any good results at the end of the season, it might be for this championship. Who knows? If it's for the Worlds, though, that will be a shock to the system. I think. I don't think it's going to get anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track guessing it's for the Worlds, because of course one of the things that all the rulebooks stipulate is you're only allowed to run 2 cars as a maximum, because we've only got a certain number of grid slots. So you can't run a 3-car team. So it's not like we're going to see a third Chaser Motorsports run car in this championship. So it's far more likely to be a single car effort in a different championship.
Why? I mean, privateer in this, yes, but not. But I can't see it being Worlds though. It's filled its purpose. There's not much more left of it, and we can argue the toss about that later, because we've got like finally poised championship here. Winterbottom up to 4th ahead of those two
he's got
Mercedes.
himself around the 2 Mercedes Benzes. He's on a charge, and as I said in race 1, these 2 Genesis cars, they are quite good in a straight line, considering they are aerodynamically very slippy.
Aerodynamically very bricky. Wait a minute. No, that's Butcher still in 11th.
And Urusei's got himself up to 2nd, so he's got himself around Takahashi, who was there. So there's been quite a few moves here happening up the front.
Now, if that means, if that Toyota's going to gain, what's going to happen with the other Toyota this very lap? There is a... Butcher's down to 12th. Okay, this is getting close. This is now that 1-point gap I was talking about earlier. I miscalculated. So, well, this is... I'm on edge. I'm in a...
Yeah,
I shouldn't be uncomfortable, but I am.
All it takes is now one single mistake from Gordon Butcher to give Mutoh the inaugural title. He's got 2 and a bit laps to get himself through some of this traffic in front of him. If you've been saving tyres, Gordon, now is the time to use them.
Now is the time. 2 laps to go after this one. Toyota have put a lot of investment into a local championship instead of running in the Worlds with perhaps a front-wheel drive version of this car. Would it have been good enough? We'll never know. Volvo took their slot with a front-wheel drive car in the Worlds and managed to get something out of it that perhaps Toyota could have achieved. Here they are spending it with the locals and whoever's in Toyota HQ. Okay, here comes
already
falling Russad. There we go.
Himself past the Subaru.
Keeping it sensible. Down the inside goes Butcher. Back up to 11th. A slowing Honda in front. That 1 point gap is back. Or is it? Rustad. Okay, powered belt. Okay. They're still side by side. Coca-Cola corner coming up. Braver on the outside. Butcher has got that 1 point gain. This is unbelievably close. It's still a 1 point gap by the looks of it. Or still a two. Well, that was the 1 point gap. Sorry, I'm panicking here. It's back up to a 2 point gap. So, oh Jesus.
Butcher is definitely making this exciting. I don't know whether he's doing this deliberately or whether he is struggling in the traffic where he was having a nicer time of things last race because, of course, no traffic, cleaner air, etc., etc. I think having Fujiwara in front is possibly a good idea because Fujiwara can go and continue to prove himself against the two Hondas in front, and Butcher could just follow the Ford through.
Exactly. If you're going to sandbag, why do it now? Why leave it until the final run? They're this close. Okay.
It's not like there's BOP involved.
It looks like the turbo has been fixed on that Mitsubishi because it's back out of the pits, but it's going to be a substantial amount of laps down. Now, is Ingram going to play another berserker move and get the fastest lap point away from Mutoh? It's theoretically possible.
It is theoretically possible. I don't think it's probable because the fastest lap round here, because of the straight and the nature of this track, the fastest lap happens because you get lucky with the slipstream. To a degree, obviously the rest of the lap still counts. But with Ingram just pootling around by himself there with maybe a turbo that's not as healthy as it could be, I don't really see that happening.
They were given that I was replacing a turbo in the pit lane, the quickness of that done, was it a completely 100% piece of turbo coming out of that pit lane? We'll just have to see and keep tabs on the fastest lap with this final lap to go. Butcher P11. So, oh god, the one.
Butcher's already done a purple sector 1, so he's certainly trying.
Right, so getting this on the fastest lap perhaps, but in traffic, doubtful. Narusai still P2.
Mutoh still leads. He's got the fastest lap. This would be max points for him.
One of the hardest things to do is win the race on a title decider, knowing you can't do any more. 32 points it is. 30 points for the win, 2 points for the fastest lap. One more turn to go. It's still a swarm behind. It's still Butcher in 11th. Mutoh through the final turn. Just put it on the floor and floor it. But then we need to see where Butcher is to see if he's managed to gain one more position and make this commentator breathe a bit more of a sigh of relief. Side by side with Fujiwara in the background. Side by side with Fujiwara in the background. We need to see that. He is ahead. One more point in the bag and Fujiwara falls back a little more. Rustad ahead of Fujiwara. Gordon Butcher later rather than sooner. 3 points ahead of Mutoh. Championship is Butcher's. And I can breathe. Blimey. Wow. And by the way, that means, however unlikely, even if Ingram is going to claim fastest lap, are we going to see him cross the line? But I don't think Butcher's been told yet. I mean, you could see him sort of stagnant in that car. Maybe he's thinking the worst. Maybe he's dreading that. Well, maybe he doesn't know. Communication has been pretty good between Team Kazoo members. Um, Ingram across the line now. Okay, not the fastest lap, but still, boy oh boy, that we've had one of the seasons to end all seasons. And as far as the Super Touring franchise is concerned now, the expansion is still inbound. But I don't think we're going to see the like of that championship again. That closeness, that randomness, the fact that we had every trope in the bag in one season. Swinny, I'll leave. I'm gonna have to have a breather. Take the mic. It's all yours.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, Butcher squeaking it through there. I'm loving the pattern that's forming because, as I said, as I spoke about the end of last race, Gianni Liozzi winning the Euros with the Hyundai. He's car number 4. Gordon Butcher with Toyota is car number 4. If Sabine Whitman can win the World Championship, she is also car number 4. Very odd little coincidence. I'm kind of here for it.
Numerology is a pseudoscience. I'm not saying more than that. Numbers should be meaningless, but boy, is that a weight of a meaning right there. And yeah, we're gonna have to see that tomorrow with the Worlds. But they're gonna have to do. I mean, they don't necessarily have to do any more to eclipse what's happened this Saturday. But we obviously look forward to it with bated breath because there is titles to be decided there. But we can confirm Yamato Racing with Mitsubishi, the privateer champion, which means that despite the apathy of the final round from Anthony Ingram, I think he was safe in the knowledge that the 160 points he had on Kazuki E-Day wasn't going to be enough of a threat to his privateer in Japan title. Good that he's got that. Manufacturers then, Genesis with those late wins. They were in the lead of the manufacturers before the halfway point, but managed to get behind Toyota again. Mazda, almost with a threat, in third, but Toyota perhaps still scratching their heads. They were at the start of the season. Once they got a handle on things, they knew where they were, where the battles were needed to be fought. Allowing Butcher all the input there. That's Narusai, who eventually became a 7th place finisher in the Drivers' Championship. But yeah, Muto on 247 will be they'll be resigned to thinking they couldn't have done any more because they were third as early as round 7, got up to second, third for rounds 9 and rounds 10. Katayama's Mazda, she's third on 232, Winterbottom on 222, so that's Mazda managing to beat Honda. Oh my days! Yeah, I'm still in shock. But yeah, we'll have to sleep on that and await in awe for season 2 in Japan. But it depends on where our focus is going to be with the American expansion inbound and a different type of car at the front of the field there. Oh yeah, we want more rounds, but we're gonna have to wait for round 1, season 2 there, Sonny.
Yeah, you're really, really not wrong. It's been a fantastic inaugural Japanese season. The idea of allowing for 4-wheel drive models has been a very good move. Obviously, a lot of Japanese manufacturers specialize in 4-wheel drive equipment. So the fact that this has had the interest it's had and has been as close as it's been, and it's not just been, just 4-wheel drive the whole way. Honda have managed to get some good results in there, get a couple of wins. They will have to go away and do a lot of work on that Civic to get it to behave a lot better. And don't count out the rear-wheel drive cars either of the Crown Athletes and the BMW M4 in the privateer standings. They will, they've got work to do, and I'm sure they can go and do it. And we'll see what they can produce in the privateer class for next season.
And then we'll see some similarly liveried Hondas tomorrow alongside the BMWs and Alphas, no doubt at the front of the field once more in qualifying. And yeah, we'll just have to leave it at that. On behalf of Michael Swinnerton, then, final of the season departure from us, Adrian Michael Rees, and it's been good racing, good championship, everyone. See you tomorrow.